Welcome everybody to Beat the Shift Baseball. This is episode 110 for Tuesday, June 15th. I'm Alex Uy and I'm here with Ray Estrada. We got a good podcast for you guys today. We are going to be following up on the sticky situation stuff, Garrett Cole's troublesome press conference responses. We are going to be re-ranking Mr. Vladdy Jr. because our genius preseason selves didn't even have him in our top 100 list. That is a big mistake. We'll rectify it now. And a lot of weird stuff happened last week, namely a home run that ended up not being a home run. It's like the second time this happened this year already. So all that to come. But before we get into it, I just want to remind you all that you should follow us on social media at BeatTheShiftBP. That's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. And that's the best way to get in touch with us. We want to hear what you have to say about the things that we talk about. And you can just say hi to us there too. So at BeatTheShiftBP. All right. That's the intro. Let's get into it. Ray, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
Sorry, that was a little bit more long-winded. and now I gotta let you talk a little bit. I'm running out of breath myself.
Okay. You gotta catch your breath.
Okay. But I'll go ahead and give you something to talk about for sure. We'll just get right into our first topic, which is yet again the sticky situation, which is just the name that I'm going to be using for it. I think others are probably using the same name at this point, but basically the use of foreign substances by pitchers on the baseball, which has been pervasive in the league for some time now, but really coming to light recently. And the league has a response, so to speak. We'll get into the Garrett Cole comments after, but there is some relatively new stuff and some new context that maybe you want to share with everybody first.
So MLB is expected to drop their memo outlining the, consequences of foreign substances tomorrow. The crackdown. Jeff Passan has some information on what it is going to contain. It is going to be a 10-day paid fine or a paid suspension, 10-day paid suspension, including a fine. That doesn't make much sense. And the other big thing is any substance from rosin and sunscreen to spider tack will be considered a foreign substance. So that is going to be interesting to see what will happen with pitchers going forward. Are we going to get a rash of pitchers suspended? Are they going to suspend nobody? Are they going to be incompetent? That is a given. So it'll be interesting to see how, with the crackdown officially happening tomorrow, I guess, with the memo happening tomorrow, it'll be interesting to see what goes down.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned it in there, but just to clarify, it is like a going forward type of situation, right? No witch hunts for past violations of a newly clarified rule. And I'll be honest, that was a different response than I was expecting. I was expecting kind of nothing to be done about it, and just saying like, hey, if you are caught, and then there will be consequences, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't think there was going to be an official memo coming from MLB.
I guess that's the thing, right? Is if how do these pitchers get caught if they've been doing it for all this time? Like, do they check pitchers' arms for sunscreen in rosin? Do they?
I think they're supposed to check. I think also this Passan might have been somebody else. They want to check. Umpires want to check starters twice a game at least. That's what they say MLB wants umpires to do, and they can stop. They can check mid-inning if anything's suspicious to them. So good for pace of play. That's all.
Good for pace of play. That's another hit, another sacrifice made. Well, the thing that sticks out to me is just like, yeah, that it wasn't enforceable before. It doesn't sound more enforceable now, but they've come out and given very clear punishments for violating this rule now. Um,
Yeah, I mean, before it was really if it was anything super egregious of like a big splotch of pine tar on a glove, a hat, or a neck, or jersey, belt, whatever, um, then that was obvious and the other team called it out. But to routinely check for anything is rosin and sunscreen is the craziest thing to me. Like a guy's gonna get suspended for rosin and sunscreen during a day game because he has sunscreen on and they have a rosin bag on the mound. That doesn't make any sense to
yeah,
me.
I guess
So
maybe that just means
that'll be a fun
they
tweet.
can't bounce the rosin bag off their arm like that anymore. Like, you know what I'm talking about. Well, we have the face cam now, but
I know what you're talking about, but also
where they're just
dude's gonna
spraying
get
it
suspended for
everywhere.
like just a habit, just like oh crap, like that
I
to me
mean,
is probably the
maybe.
dumbest part of that thing. It's like okay, but it's something that is they provide a rosin bag on the mound. They provide in a sense now a foreign substance.
Yeah, and 10 games is not insignificant for any
No,
team. Like even whether it's a starter or a reliever in any case, um, that is a serious thing. And I don't know if that will change the attitude regarding like past offenders, which I'll use to transition to what Garrett Cole said in his press conference last week, where it was kind of known that he was one of the benefactors of using foreign substances just from video of him, you know, going to a consistent spot in his cap, and not that's not even to mention the numbers and the huge spike in
also
performance.
his spin rates. Yeah,
Yeah, with the Astros and since then. Um, I mean, it's one thing to just have your numbers improve that drastically. It's another to have an abundance of video evidence of you applying
yeah,
stick to your finger during games. But was basically asked point blank during this press conference if he's ever used spider tack before, which is one of the more like the more grippy stick
that's the
substances.
strongman cinder block stuck to your hand tack stuff.
Yeah, and he couldn't answer it. I believe his exact wording was, I don't know how to answer that." And
Yeah, that was his answer.
what what
And then
does that mean?
tacitly admitted. Am I using that word?
I don't know.
So like he's like, oh yeah, older generations pass stuff down to younger generations all the time. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
the
it
closest thing
is insane.
is like getting asked like, "Hey, is this your cigarette? Were you smoking this cigarette, little Johnny?" And them saying, "Well, grandpa does it." Well, okay, so pretty obviously yes to the first question, but just trying to deflect to to get on to the reason behind it without really explicitly answering the question. That's is that that's pretty accurate, I think.
Yeah,
In the way he responded, it was like, uh, he was not ready. Like straight up, he was not ready. And people.
he was not prepared to be asked point blank.
So here's the thing: a lot of people, on the internet, on Twitter, on Reddit, wherever, see this response and they're like, "How was he not ready for this question? The Yankees PR team sucks. They should have been able to deal with this." And I'm sitting here thinking like, what's the right answer? Like even from a strictly PR standpoint, like what do you say
Yeah,
to that? Because one, if you just lie, that is a super easy lie to dig up and prove otherwise, whether it's from accounts of other people, other players or coaches, or just I don't know, game footage. Like there's so many ways to just be like, yeah, you're lying. So why did you lie? And then you're in a lot more trouble for other reasons. Versus you can't just straight up admit it because the league might be like, oh, wait, do we suspend him now? He just admitted it. It's like, shoot, we're not ready. We don't have the memo ready. We need another week. So those are like the two
That's what he should have just
sides
like
of the
thrown
coin.
MLB into chaos. Like, yes, everybody does it. Everybody except Josh Donaldson and Jameson Tyone for whatever reason are okay with it, and like suspend me.
Wait, Jamison Tyone is one who's
And
very not okay with it. Is now teammate.
yeah, I saw it. I didn't read the article. Yeah, but like it was recent. It was like Jameson Tyone was like, yeah, like pitchers shouldn't. It was like, why do you think you suck this year? Because you refused to use the spider tag.
Yeah, but
Also, his
that
former teammate with the Pirates, right?
yeah, former and current teammates for life. But the question I still have to ask is like what is the best answer? Like people are so dissatisfied with that. It's like he's such an idiot. Why did he say that? Like what was he supposed to say?
You should have gone chaos and just admitted it.
That's what so if you were Garrett
Just
Cole, that's your answer. That's your official answer.
well, maybe not as Garrett Cole, but as a baseball fan.
No, if you're
that
Garrett
would've been
Cole, like if you
even
were
funnier
Garrett Cole
than
and
this response. If I'm
I
Garrett
asked
Cole,
you that.
no comment. Just
Oh, just straight
admit
up
it with
no
it.
comment. Like I have to
Yeah.
go to the bathroom, like that kind of just like nope, not done, not answering questions.
Yeah. Next question.
Yeah, that's not suspicious at all.
I don't know if anybody in a press conference has straight up asked Trevor Bauer about it, but he's gotten plenty of questions, and since he's been pretty open about like he has a video on his YouTube channel literally about like how different substances affect his spin rates.
He's a little more open with it.
And
I wonder if he's asked though.
yeah,
If he gets asked directly.
since he's been, I don't know if he's been asked point blank, do you use like spider tech, but he's gotten questions about foreign substances, and he's definitely deflected.
Yeah.
Much more eloquently than Garrett Cole did.
Yeah, but again, I think point blank is a much more different. Like if Trevor Bauer was asked, he's
Yeah.
like, oh God, no, that's
Trevor Bauer
that's
is
the
the
weak
chaos candidate.
like
Though.
that's the weak stuff. Like, you know, that stuff doesn't do anything
Yeah.
for me. I got way stronger stuff. Like he'll he'll have an answer that way. I think if I was Garrett Cole, I would just go with a good old no. Just in a solid 2-3 second wink, right into the camera.
Your nice WandaVision meme.
Yeah. It was Agatha all along. Anyway, I think that probably covers everything that we know to this point about the sticky situation. I'm just gonna keep saying it. It's a thing now.
Who gets suspended tomorrow after the memo comes out?
I don't think anybody's gonna get suspended. Honestly, I still don't. Even though this memo happened, I don't think anybody's actually gonna get suspended.
Do you think the rise in like? So do you think the rise in like starting pitchers ERA is gonna keep going?
I wouldn't be surprised if pitchers just start getting absolutely shellacked now, or if the pitchers have, they're already pretty smart about it. If they just now get even a little bit smarter, and are like, okay, maybe the stuff that makes a very audible sound ripping off my fingers might be a little bit too noticeable now. Let's dial it down. Let's put some other more subtle, sticky stuff on my glove or my belt, like wherever you were putting it before, and just like
Maybe
be a
less
lot
of
more
a-
and be a lot more
like
careful,
burger.
just to not go like, all right, let's go. We're ready. Sticking. All right, good. Because that's almost what it seems like now. It's like very much, all right, got to get that good part of the brim of the cap, rub it. Yep, we're good. Like it's not that subtle. So maybe just a little more subtlety if they are gonna keep trying to use it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if anybody will actually just straight up get tossed from a game and suspended. It would be interesting to see. Do you think if it were to happen, do you think it'd be more likely for um, an established player, or do you think it's going to be Joe Schmo from AAA coming out of the bullpen, who really needs to keep his job in the big leagues, but has been relying on this stuff for consistent success all the way up to that point, and is like, well, I can't stop now, or else I'm going to make a fool of myself and maybe never see the big leagues again, and it's worth the risk. You don't know. There's
I missed all of that.
Oh, is your internet bad? You're a little frozen there, Ray. No, at least he's smiling. He looks really happy. Oh no, this is harder when it's a two-man show. He's back. It's okay. You just freeze framed smiling though for a good few seconds. So at least it was
I
a
missed what you said. You were frozen for a good minute.
at least it was a nice smiling face that you were left frozen with on the recording. But the question is basically like, do you think it's more likely that an established player will get caught and suspended, or do you think it'll be Joe Schmo from AAA who's getting his first shot at the big leagues, but has been relying on
No,
the stick?
MLB is gonna have a name brand scapegoat. I think.
You think so? All right,
Yeah.
all right. We'll see. We'll see. All we can do is watch and wait at this point. So yeah, let's move on from that, and we'll transition into, as I mentioned earlier, re-ranking Vladimir Guerrero Jr. But we'll do a quick check-in on the All-Star ballot voting, which has been going on for a while, and they have given the first update. So that's all the starters in the field, no pitchers for the American League and National League. Nothing too out of the ordinary. And I thought the same thing as I was filling out the ballot. And at the starting spots, not a whole lot of close contention with who's having the best seasons at their spots. So I guess we'll start the American League. The outfield is Buxton, Trout, and Judge, who Trout will probably be out through the All-Star break. They'll get somebody else in there. Buxton will be back soon, but still probably deserving. And then Aaron Judge, who's just always going to kind of be there. You have the man himself, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and then Marcus Semien, teammate at second base, and then a pair of Red Sox on the other side, Xander Bogaerts and Rafael Devers at short and third. Salvador Perez.
All AL East infield.
Yeah. And then Salvador Perez is just destroying all the other catchers. Although I would love to see 150 batting average Yasmani Grandal. He'll probably make the All-Star team, though, is the thing. Because he's far and away the second best catcher.
He's been the second best catcher in the American League this year.
And I think that'll be...
You just can't hit.
I think that'll be the talking point for all of the batting average enthusiasts. Like, look how awful the game has become. There's a 150 hitter in the All-Star game. Like, what is this nonsense? Yeah, you know, that whole thing will be fun when that comes about. And then Shohei Ohtani, of course, will be a DH, and he'll probably do both in the All-Star game. I would think so.
Yeah, does he start pitching?
Do you think? I don't know.
Well, MLB is probably gonna have to adjust rules.
They're probably just gonna be like
an All-Star team kill a DH.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, you can just let him pitch in the middle of the game, and then keep the DH there. That's fine. Although they got plenty of bench spots. You just give.
Yeah.
You just pinch hit every single time if you want to get technical. I don't think it'll be that difficult. I don't think he'll start though as a pitcher.
Yeah, I mean pitchers only go one inning anyways past like the fifth, so.
Right, but they'll give the most deserving starter the All-Star game start, I would imagine. Which in the AL, who do you think that would be at this point?
That's what I'm thinking. Who is it?
I mean, Shane Bieber. It was
Garrett Cole before the spider tag.
Yeah, and then Shane Bieber also has been very good. So
he's also hurt now.
Yeah, that's not great Why is everybody getting hurt? Tyler Glass now
my fantasy team.
also hurt now.
Yeah.
But he's also having an amazing season. So if pitchers could just stop getting hurt, that would be wonderful. Don't know if they'll listen to me, though. National League side of things, we have Jesse Winker, Nick Castellanos, and Ronald Acuna in the outfield. The two Reds hitters just tearing it up. Over 1,000 OPS, and the batting average voters love them too because they're both just hitting everything. So those two and Acuna. Then you got Muncy and Albies, Tatis and Bryant. Probably not super contested at either of those spots, or at any of those spots. And Buster Posey, return of the Buster Posey All-Star starting catcher. It's been a while for him. So
it has.
Yeah, that was just kind of an update on that for people that didn't really know that All-Star voting is a thing. You can do that. Probably should if you care about who starts, but like I said, I think they got it right so far, the voters. But yeah, you can do that.
There's no teams flooding the ballot.
No, it's been years since that happened. Man, they've really fixed that loophole. So, let's get to the main part, which is going to be re-ranking Vladdy, who, all right, admittedly was a very, very borderline top 100 player for us for our preseason top 100 right now.
MLB Network rankings, was he not?
He did make the top 100 for MLB Network, so we lost in that respect. I still maintain that they were better overall. But
yeah,
that is probably the most egregious oversight.
Wait. Talking about re-ranking Vladdy, we also don't have Byron Buxton in our top 100 because I hated that he was in the top 100.
We want to re-rank anybody else. Last call. Anybody else want to be re-ranked to our top 100? I honestly, those are the only two that are outside that I think you could work back in there. Nobody else really is. Zach Wheeler on the pitching side. Yeah, definitely at this point, but
that's more of a surprise than like
Whit Merrifield. Kyle, wait, do we not have Kyle? Kyle, okay, there's a few. Now, let's forget about the other ones for a moment, and only talk about our most glaring mistake, which is Vladdy himself. So let's just go from the top of our list because I would think he would land closer to the top than the bottom at this point, considering the couple months he's had. And you'll just tell me, is it the player I name or Vladdy? And eventually we'll place him that way. So, you got Mike Trout, you got Mookie Betts, Jacob deGrom, Garrett Cole. We're not going ahead of any of them, right? Yet?
No.
Unless
Mike Trout misses the entire year with a calf trade.
Yeah, we'll ignore injuries for this too. Kind of like we did in the rankings themselves.
Yeah, this is fully healthy exercise.
Mm-hmm. Juan Soto. You taking Juan Soto or Vladdy Guerrero? That's a tough one already.
That's a tough one. I still really like Soto.
Yeah, and you gotta think of the sample too.
As
like
much
Soto's
as
been
the
doing
Nationals
it. Soto's been
thinks
doing
that
it.
He's underrated.
He's not having an awful year. He's having a down year for him though.
No.
And he's been.
That's how amazing he's been.
Yeah. So I think I still take Soto. Okay, Christian Yelich or Vladdy Guerrero.
I mean, I think Yelich is one, like, where health is a thing in that sense because he gets hurt a lot in short spurts. I think I take Vladdy right now.
Okay, he's already surpassed Yelich. I am tempted to agree with you there. But I'll go ahead and list a couple of the other interesting names because again, this was preseason and we'd probably have rearranged some of this by now anyway. So we have Vladdy or Acuna.
That's a hard one. They're Vladdy or Acuna.
I like this segment. It's just me stumping you repeatedly.
Yeah. Well, this is like your old fantasy shows, but when you ask me the fantasy questions, when like you're the
Yeah.
fantasy expert.
Maybe we have to make it a little more gut reaction, where you don't get a whole lot of time to weigh your options.
I think it's hard because Vladdy is doing amazing right now. I think it's hard to know where he will average out to. Like it's gonna be closer to this than his last 2 years, obviously. But it's hard to judge where he lands because like Acuna is having a down year, but Acuna is still really good and can easily just go off.
It's crazy that he's having a down year and leading the NL in homers.
Oh yeah, he's still there. I think I like Acuna just because he has that a little more dynamic of an athlete in terms of running and stuff.
Yeah, he's fast. Same with Tatis then for you. Guerrero versus Tatis.
I would say so. Just because
Let's still
Tatis
take
this year is
Tatis.
putting up crazy power numbers. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's been doing that. He's been there. Okay, so that puts Vladdy at like 8th in our current standings right now.
Yeah.
But like I said, some other.
And I think if we were practicing, yellow should drop like crazy.
Yeah.
Not like crazy, but.
But there's also like Shohei Ohtani, the likely AL MVP frontrunner.
Like. Yeah, Ohtani is such a weird case because it's hard to judge. Like I said this before we started, I feel bad for Vladdy Jr. because in any other year he would be a clear cut front runner.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a guy who is really good at hitting and really good at pitching at the same time, and that's just so impressive that as much like Vladdy's been better than Shohei hitting wise, but because Shohei also has amazing pitching numbers and is the kind of athlete that he is, it just puts him way over the top.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or if you go one higher on our rankings, you have Vladdy or Mark Canha.
That is. I don't know. Top 100 player Mark Canha is tough to beat.
I would say I moved Mark Canha up honestly. We had him at 87. I mean, I'm moving Ohtani way up, but I'm moving Canha up too. I think
Mark Canha up. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm totally moving Canha up.
Don't hate on Canha. So it seems like we have Vladdy about 8 or 9.
Yeah. If you're wondering why Shohei Ohtani is in the 80s, is because we didn't know if he was going to be healthy this year to play.
We also just didn't know how effective of a pitcher he would be.
Yeah.
Coming back from the injury, of course, but just in general, like hadn't really nailed that side of things down even when he was healthy. He was kind of struggling to put it together.
There was legitimate talks this year that like he might just turn into a hitter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he's quieted that conversation pretty effectively. So, Vladdy, we're sorry. You're a top 10 player. Satisfied? Good. We'll get back to re-ranking you for next year. But for now, let's go ahead and move on to a little bit of now we'll get into some weirder stuff, a little more basic news, probably not as long of conversations. But okay, this first one, which was, I don't know, well, I know you saw it. I don't know if you listening happened to see this, but Ke'Bryan Hayes back off the injured list, finally. Third base stud rookie. Is he a rookie? He's a rookie. He's still a rookie for the Pirates. Yeah, Ke'Bryan Fever, baby. He hit
What do you
a
mean he's still rookie? You and I both picked him for rookie of the
yeah,
year.
yeah. It's been a while, okay? He's been injured and I forget very quickly. So,
We
hits
were
a
so sad when he got hurt.
I'm still a little sad that it happened. But Bryant hit a home run off the foul pole, off the very, very base of the foul pole, off of Walker Buehler, actually. And
Right field foul pole.
yeah, but if we're painting the full picture, I really should clarify which one. So that's a home run by every measure, but it was ruled in play by the umpires. It was
No,
really
it
hard to
was
tell.
ruled a home run.
It was initially ruled a home
It
run.
was ruled a home run. Yeah.
Oh, on the field. Okay. And then
But so
it went to video review though cuz the No, I thought the Pirates wanted to challenge the call though. I thought the Pirates were the one.
no. So a home run review is always initiated by the umpires. That's like
But was it ruled a
that's like
home
a
run?
touchdown or like it's not. I believe it was, but then it would be something that the umpires would look at automatically. There's no challenge needed
Mm.
on that. And then it came out that the Dodgers were challenging, so it was confusing what they were challenging. And yeah, I'll let you finish the story of what exactly they were challenging.
So pretty much Hayes watching the ball to see if it would stay fair like everybody else in the stadium was rounding first base and missed the bag by like a good foot. And, can't blame him. It's
Yeah.
hard to
Long of it.
it's hard to run when you're not looking. But I guess somebody in the Dodgers noticed and were like, "Hey, review that."
Austin Barnes did. It was Austin Barnes.
Ah, screw you, Austin Barnes. No, I'm kidding, but it's one of those things where it's everybody was super confused because like everybody's watching the replay of the ball hitting the pole and like it's obviously a home run. Why was he called out? Even the announcers like, did they call it foul? It's like I think they're calling him out. Like, why are they calling him out? And they see the replay of Hayes rounding first, and they're like, oh, I get it. But then 2 seconds later, you're like, well, that doesn't make any sense. He hit a home run. Like, that's kind of dumb that he's out. At least that's for me. Do you share that opinion, which I think is a popular opinion,
No.
that that's a really stupid rule, that you can hit an over the
No.
fence home run and still make an out on the base paths?
Well, so I agree in the sense of like passing a runner after a home run is hit is dumb. Like the Cody Bellinger thing. Not just because of that.
Yeah, it happened earlier this year.
You gotta hit every base.
But you're out. But like, you hit a home run out of the park, and you're just out if you miss the base.
The Dodgers actually did appeal. Like they did the official appeal. Like
yeah, who cares? Like
they threw to first base.
So,
could you imagine Walker Buehler threw a no hitter that day?
Dude, that would have been that would have gone
That's
down. That would have gone down in history. But it is such a dumb rule, isn't it? And so there's more to this. Within the same 1 week period, Jose Altuve actually hit a home run right down the left field line. This was in Minnesota, right down the left field line, and it was a ball that was initially called foul because in that ballpark, the foul pole is right next to a building. There's a corner of a wall right next to the foul pole, basically like 5 feet away from it. So in the slow-mo, you can see that the ball ricochets off the foul pole and right into the wall, and then bounces back like the direction that it would look like if it hit the wall. So people just thought it hit the wall, but the replay showed that it did in fact hit the foul pole first and then bounced off the wall. So that's a home run. So Altuve at this point, is just like in the batter's box because it was a foul ball, and now they're waiting to tell him it's a home run. He's like, yay. Like he's like, do I go? Do I go around the bases? And the crew chief's like, no, you don't have to run the bases. Like, it's fine. You just jog back. He's like, okay, jogs back to the dugout. Another run on the board. Nobody on base at the time either. But
See, I don't know the actual rule,
I mean that's a
and
different situation. It was after a replay review, and it was a foul ball
yes,
turned into a home run.
but it would be. But that's if I was Altuve, I would have just taken off.
You just start,
Like I
just
would have just
sprint,
ran the
just
bases.
run back
Like
onto the
it's so
field.
unsatisfying. Because what are they gonna do? Just like tell them to stop. It's like just go. You hit a home run.
Wait, come back here. And especially just because he's kind of short. You just kind of feel like a little kid that ran out onto the field to run the bases at that point. Like nothing's happening and just like starts running. Um, but that's so weird. Like days after this happens, you have this, and he's like, "Oh,
That's
all right,
so
back."
unsatisfying.
It's unsatisfying. I get it, but like the concept that you can be out if you hit a ball over the fence is kind of ridiculous to me. Like, I mean, so there's this historical examples where it's like, okay, what about in the case? I honestly couldn't tell you what World Series or like what walk off it was, but where this was like decades ago, where fans stormed the field and were just everywhere as the batter was rounding the bases, hit the biggest home run of his life, like in
Oh,
possibly
is
the
that the
team's
Bill
history.
Mazeroski home run against it was Pirates Yankees Game 7 walk off in 1960? And he's running, yeah, like just
It's very
fans everywhere. He's
yeah,
like
there's
having a
fans everywhere. He's like avoiding them. They literally flooded onto the field, and he somehow like he actually
oh, there
touched
might
all the
be Joe
bases.
Carter as well.
I don't think I'm not thinking of the
Joe
Joe Carter
Carter
one.
for the Blue Jays in '92.
I don't think
Okay.
I'm thinking of that one. But it's been a while. But it's just an image. It's a more powerful image than even just the details of it. Clearly did my
Yeah.
research here. But he touched all the bases. But like, what if he didn't? Like, you're gonna call him out? You're gonna call him out after hitting the biggest walk off home run and having fans pour onto the field because everybody was so hyped. That's obviously a super extreme example of that. But
There
at the
was,
same time,
I
it's
want to say it
like,
was indie ball last year because there wasn't minor league last year, or it
mhm.
might have been at the end of 2019. Uh, uh, Player hit a home run, came around the bases, hype. He does like a little point to God thing. So he jumps to home plate. It's like a sort of like a routine celebration.
Mhm.
So he jumps and it's like sort of like stops. Tom home plate has come down, but he clearly misses home plate. And like the catcher, like the umpire sees it, and then the catcher's like, "Give me the ball." He steps on home plate. The umpire calls him out because he just
My
completely
God.
whiffed on home plate with his jump.
But you see, like, in a much more reasonable sense, it's like if it is a crazy hype situation, like a walk off home run, and everybody's going crazy, teammates surrounding the play, like if somehow like he doesn't end up touching the plate in like just a
Yeah,
massive like are you actually going to call him out? Because that is just ridiculous. It's as ridiculous as a
the
batter who's
umpires
watching to
always
see if it
check.
goes. But like, why? But why does the rule have to exist? I get that that's the rule, but why does it exist in the first place? Like, who back in the day thought like, okay, so if this guy hits it over the fence, that's a home run, right? And it's like, yeah, but he should still round the bases. Like, okay, so if he doesn't, do we call him out? And like, yeah, sure, I guess. And then it just kind of stuck because,
That
like,
that makes total logical sense. If the rule is to round the bases, you should touch them all. Like otherwise, then it's just pure chaos.
but you'd think it'd just be one of those more, um, just like a cultural thing, like a cultural staple of the sport is like, you hit a home run, you round the bases. Like, yeah, if you walk back to the dugout, like, you still hit the freaking home run, but like, you just round the bases or else you're gonna look like an idiot, kind of thing. But yeah, that stuff frustrates me every time. I'm
Yeah,
like, why is this a thing?
The
Brian
thing we're
having a rough
missing in all
time.
this is that the Pirates are allergic to just touching first base when that's all they had to do.
That's true. That's true. Very different plays on both ends of that, but you're not wrong. Oh, I almost totally. So this was the same on the same day as this play, involving Brian Hayes. There was a minor leaguer who did the same thing, and kind of
Oh,
similar to the one that you said, did like a kind of shuffle step across the plate, and like it was much closer. It wasn't just like, oh, like he straight up missed the base. Like he kind of shuffled across it and was ruled out. And it was a notable. I'm looking for it now, like a notable prospect, who hit this ball, who hit this home run, and was called out for missing home plate. Like what? Why? Like what is the point? Like he literally shuffled across the plate. Like you're not even gonna give him like any benefit of the doubt there. Like nope. It's like you were arrogant and you shuffled across the plate, so I'm gonna call you out. Like I
he
just
Eric
don't.
Sogard across the plate.
So I really do need to find this now. I'm looking. Um.
First base all year has been like weird. Do you see the Eric Sogard play where he he would have been safe, like he would have beat out a throw diving head first, but he like dove too late and literally just like went over the base without touching it.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen that. I've seen that one too. Um. Really unbelievable kind of stuff. Um. Like how do people manage this stuff? Um. Oh, okay. So I know we said that these topics we would probably not spend that much time on, and this is probably the topic we spend the longest amount of time on. But there's just so many layers of like what the heck is going on to the same Brian Hayes play, is that the scoring of the play was ruled as a foul out to Max Muncy. Like what?
Yeah,
Okay, because first of all, not a foul ball. If it was a foul ball, would not be having this problem. Second of all, Max Muncy, why? Because he's playing first base.
Max
Like
Muncy recorded the putout
is
because
because of the.
yeah he
But why is it ruled a foul
no
out
like
then?
so on the
Why isn't it
I don't
just
know
like
why
a
it's ruled a foul out,
why
but
isn't it
on the
just like a
appeal,
one
Max
a
Muncy
one
is
three
making the
put out?
putout.
It's dumb. It's all
I think that's
dumb.
what it should be. That's weird. That
It's
it's a foul out.
semantics and it's dumb. That part also was like I don't get it. I don't get it. Um but now I'm trying to find the other play, which clearly didn't gain as much traction on r/baseball as this Brian Hayes one. But the fact that this has happened twice in games involving the Dodgers also just adds more layers of weirdness to everything. Um, yeah, just one of those things. I hate it. Ray seems to enjoy the rule.
Touch the base.
So you're saying that if this rule, as it probably should, is just like dissolved, and someday there's a batter who hits an epic dramatic home run, just bat flips and walks back to the dugout and gets mobbed by his teammates. Are you saying that wouldn't be, you wouldn't think that's just badass?
I mean, in a way, it is.
Like if
but,
it's Jose, like if it was Jose Bautista hitting the home run he hit, epic bat flip, and just goes and like parties with his team, doesn't round the bases at all, just like does an epic walk off. Because that would actually be a walk off. If you hit a walk off home run, and you literally just
Yeah.
walk off the field, like because it's called that because you walk like the other team or why is it called that again? I actually think there's an Effectively Wild episode where they go into
the other team is walking off.
yeah. I think there's an actually really in depth analysis or history of why it is called a walk off, and I honestly can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But I remember
Well, I want to say it came from a broadcaster.
probably
A long time ago, but
probably, but that like an actual walk off home run. If you just do away with the silly rule, you hit a bomb, you know it's gone, and you walk off the field. How badass is that?
I think the Jose Bautista thing is the fact that he tossed the bat in the direction of the opposing team's dugout and would have walked away from his bat toss.
Yeah, I think I'm just talking like similarly epic home run, um, where that's the celebration. But it's kind of we're kind of just spitballing here. I'm just talking about stuff that's it's kind of cool. Let's talk about other weird stuff because there were other weird things, probably not as weird as this, but other weird things that happened. So this past week as well, the White Sox and Tigers were playing, and the White Sox had a 2-run lead in the ninth inning, and it's closer time. Like Liam Hendricks is in the game, but it is like torrential downpour at this point in the ninth inning. Like the watching the video brought like the highlights of this in the broadcast, it is about as visibly just pouring as you could possibly imagine, and they're just out there still. Like nobody's calling anything because the game's like almost over. The umpires at this point are probably like we can get through it. Come on. And Liam Hendricks just straight up, he's trying to get ready to pitch. He's just soaked at this point, and he just fires the ball away in frustration, like off to the side, off towards the dugout. And he's like, "This is ridiculous, man!" Like he's just yelling at the umpire, like, what are we doing? Like what are we doing here?" And he just starts yelling at the umpire. I've never seen anything like that before. And then at that point, his manager's out there and talking trying to tell the umpire like, call this game. This is ridiculous, because Liam Hendricks is the one who like about to make his pitch just straight up like flings the ball off to the side, just starts shouting at the umpire because nobody's calling this game for a delay when it obviously is like dangerous conditions at this point to play. And then they did delay it. They come back out, and Daz Cameron, a young Tigers outfielder, hits his first career home run to tie the game, which is like, what a terrible night for Liam Hendricks. Like he was probably so pissed. But the weirder part, like obviously really cool that Daz Cameron was able to do that, like really cool moment there. That is like the pinnacle of just like awesome baseball stuff. Hitting a huge home run against a first place team as the Tigers in like the most unlikely of situations, but the umpire like the shouting at the umpire and just flinging the ball away, refusing to pitch. I don't think I've seen that before. Did you see this at all when it happened, Ray?
I didn't. I saw the Daz Cameron thing. I did not see that it was after a rain delay where Liam Hendricks was pissed off.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's an angry dude. A very fired up Aussie. But even that, like, how often do you see guys just shout at the umpires without even an outcome or a call being made? Just like, you know what? Screw you. Yeah. like call this game, you idiot. Like that's basically what happened.
What was the Reds pitcher earlier this year who like threw away 3 straight balls? That's the only thing I can think of.
Well, okay, but that's
Did you see that clip?
I think I did, but
I know, but like that's the only thing I think of similar to like that, but not in the torrential rain. It was just like no.
Yeah. Or
just like dead staring at the umpire, just tossing the ball over the dugout.
Yeah, this was a while ago too, where I forget who it was, but the umpire got like fed up with the pitcher asking for a new ball and was just like very like, obviously very annoyed, just like flicking the balls out there, like didn't even reach the pitcher on the fly, and the pitcher's just like, what the heck, man? I just wanted a better ball. He's like taking it personal, like the umpire's like, oh, okay, my ball's not good enough for you. All right, take this. Just throws it at his feet, like, huh? What's going on? There's a lot of weird stuff that happens over the years, but that's definitely one of them. Yeah, and then okay, we'll get to weird. We'll do this in in threes. Everything's better in threes, right? So the last weird thing that we'll talk about was the Angels and Diamondbacks. Actually, I lied because I have a fourth weird thing after this. But the Angels and Diamondbacks game. This was last Friday, I believe it was, in Arizona, and just one of the weirdest collections of weird events to happen all in the same ball game. So it's a Shohei Ohtani start, which you probably expect. A lot of new things happen with two-way generational talent, but
Yeah, he's like the first pitcher since like Bugs McGee, Smoker Joe, and like 1850 to do whatever he's doing.
yeah, first pitcher to hit above fifth in the lineup, uh, in a National League park.
In an NL ballpark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like ever. Um, the weirdness didn't start until it was one specific inning, and I was watching this inning live. Like I watch Angels games every so often. I'm not as avid a viewer as Farbode, but in this inning, first of all, featured an at bat where Shohei Ohtani walked Ketel Marte on 4 pitches, but 2 of the pitches were well within the inside corner, the low and inside corner of the strike zone. Like 2 identical pitches that were both called balls there, miraculously. So that doesn't help when you have 2 strikes that are called balls, and that put runners on first and second. So then after that, Ohtani does a check on the runner at second, but he does it with a step off. So he steps off the rubber, and then breaks his hand to like go to throw. He didn't even throw the ball. It wasn't like a lift your leg spin move. It was just step off the runner and turn. But they called a balk on that, and everyone's like, wait, why? Like, and Otani's like, what do you mean? Like, why is that a balk? Like, he's not new to the game. Everybody knows how to play the game, and even the announcers at this point are like, do you see anything? Like, I don't see what happened at all. Like, he stepped off the runner and then broke his hand from the glove. And normally you'd think like, well, if he broke his hands while he's still on the rubber, then that's a balk. But he stepped off the rubber first, like very clearly, in like very separate movements. And it's like I have no idea what they're looking at. So balks runners to second and third. They then call another balk with this is another pitch at a later time. They call a balk on Ohtani for quick pitching, and again they show the replays. Like they said they called it on a quick pitch. Let's see if he actually stops and comes set. And it's like any other pitch he's thrown. There's plenty of time. Like he very clearly just like comes set and then goes to the plate. Like what? Why are they out to? It's very much seemed like they were out to get him, because both of those plays you're like, are we watching the same game? Like twice in the same inning, back to back occurrences, and then with 2 outs, strikes out the batter, but it's a drop third strike, and it gets all the way to the dugout. So the run scores. Another that just sucks for Ohtani, and then he strikes out the next batter to get out of the inning, and like stares down the third base umpire who called both of those balks. I'm pretty sure, and is just like, what is your problem, dude? Like, really? I mean, he's cool and everything. Like, he's Shohei Ohtani. He's not going to get angry at anybody. I think he even asked, like... Okay, so another weird thing. Later in the game, he went to go play right field, because that's just kind of what he does when he's done pitching there. And, like, you can still hit. Just go play right field. So he did that, and he, like, went out to the umpire to ask, like, can you tell me what I did wrong? Like, I don't know what I did wrong. And he's like, I guess. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe. Sure, I'll let you know. It was just a really, really weird game for Ohtani, especially. And then
Yeah, I
yeah, I don't know.
don't know what happened on that first block. I saw some people say that the umpire said he flinched. There's no discernible flinch there. You mentioned the separate the hands thing. I don't know if it's a block or not. I would maybe just the way I was taught to like step off, but like if you step off, you have to separate. And I don't know if it was like I don't know. That was confusing. The quick pitch one, I don't think he comes set, but it's not an egregious quick pitch. Like it's like what any other pitcher does. Like his glove is still sort of moving down. He's he's got that hitch like everybody does, and like he doesn't necessarily full stop, but like it's like any little thing. It's like he's
Yeah.
more or less set.
Yeah, because normally a quick pitch is very much
Like
like he's coming set and then like just goes,
it's
like
very
not at
obvious.
all.
It's
Like
very
he come like he his rest, like his heart rate is probably zero at some point in that in that set motion there. Um,
I don't think he's dead, but yeah.
un- Probably not, but actually just unreal watching live and just be like, what is going on right now? Like it's beyond me. And then that game also just went to extra innings. The Manfred run scored without a base hit. Actually, without a nothing
Fall
left
out
of
of
the
the
infield.
infield.
Yeah. Um, Apparently 52 runners left on between both teams. Like what? Okay. Very weird. Yeah, probably a really fun game to be at in general. Some like really terrible and confusing baseball and umpiring to boot. But yeah, that was another weird thing. That was just me doing a lot of talking. Hopefully, I painted some kind of picture for you, but you could always just watch the highlight of the play as well to save some time. All right, and I lied. I got one more weird thing, but you've probably heard this one too because everybody's talking about it. Jacob deGrom, 4 earned runs allowed on the season, 5 RBI now after having a 2-run single in his last start, and he left after 6 innings pitched because he was fatigued and was kind of feeling the same like tendonitis thing that he was dealing with before, but he had an MRI, came back clean. He said he should be good to go for next outing. So Jacob deGrom's still the best.
The GOAT.
The GOAT. All right.
I know we didn't discuss National League starting pitchers for the All-Star game, but like,
do we have to? You want to talk about weird? You want to talk about weird clickbaiting? So I don't know if you saw this, but Trevor Bauer did his Mickey Mouse Cy Young Awards 60 games into the season. Just did a little video that he posted on Twitter and announced who
I did not see that.
Who would be the Cy Young, the Mickey Mouse Cy Young winners through it, like if this was a 60-game season, these would be the winners. And he went with in the National League.
That's actually great.
He went with Kevin Gausman in the National League when Jacob deGrom exists.
Wow.
That is like the most explicitly trolly thing ever. And yeah, like how do you do that? Like Gausman, great year. It's Jacob deGrom is having the best start to a season ever by a good margin. Like better than your Pedro Martinez.
That's a total troll to Mets fans because Mets fans hate.
Oh yeah, that is like peak troll Trevor Bauer right there. Is going Kevin Gausman for the NL Cy Young through the first 60 games of the year. deGrom's got like a .59.
Kevin Gausman, if he keeps his pace up, he's definitely going to be like that honorary like finalist when deGrom wins it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love the suspense around a finalist when one guy is clearly.
It has happened
there's
before.
More drama and like, all right, like who do they think is second and third best in the league?
Yeah, no shame in that. Like one of those things. Any other year, Vladdy, any other year, you're the clear cut front runner right now, but not this year. So yeah, a lot of weird stuff to talk about today. I think we did pretty well. Two man show today. We've been used to having all 4 of us here for some time now.
2-man game.
Our 2-man game's not bad. We've been doing all right with that. Let's see how the outro goes after many long-winded explanations on my part. Thank you everybody for sticking around this long. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Leave a review for us if you're listening on podcast platform. Really helps us out. And let us know what you thought about anything that we were talking about. Or again, if you just want to say hi, at BeatTheShiftBP, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram is the place to do that. And make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. We actually posted our first non-podcast video there. It's pretty fun. We'll be doing more stuff like that as well. So check us out there. All right, that is it for today, everybody. Thank you again. And as always, Ray.
Peace. Congrats, Farbode.